Photos. Each one represents 1,000 words, yet they are also the bane of our existence. Now that we have these handheld devices that we can take photos on every second of every day, it is so hard to decide what to do with all these photos that are just floating around on our phone in the cloud. And we don't always just want them there. We want to enjoy them. We want to relive these experiences. So today I'm going to be talking about my newly created photo system for busy moms that I'm doing that you can easily recreate yourself. Glue. It's messy, it's sticky, it gets everywhere, but it's also really useful. Just like the glue that we need to put together the pieces of our life as busy working moms. We have after-school activities, we have homework, we have cleaning, we have laundry, and, we want to spend time with our kids as well in the process and maybe even have some time for ourselves. This podcast is for the busy moms out there who are balancing work, life, and everything in between, and we all know that in between encompasses a lot of things. If you're a mom who wants to do the best in all areas of life but still have time for yourself, this podcast is for you. I love to interview other moms and find out what works for them, get ideas from them, get inspired by them, and learn, we're all in this together. But I also like to share my own tips, tricks, struggles, triumphs, and share it all with you. So grab a load of laundry, lock yourself in the bathroom, go for a walk, do whatever you got to do, but I am just so glad you're here. So glue sticks, truth time. I did a video a couple years ago all about my new photo system for printing photos into yearly photo books. And while that worked really well for me for a year, then life got really crazy once my second daughter got older. Life became more chaotic. Then I got pregnant and had a really rough pregnancy and then a pandemic. And, you kind of know the rest this past year. It's been crazy. And I just decided I needed to find something that actually works. And then once I found that, I wanted to share it with you guys because that's what I like to do. I like to figure out what works for me and what I think a lot of other busy moms can do. And then I like to share it. So I've actually kind of put this off because my last photo book was in 2018. That is over 2 years ago now. And it just really makes me sad to think that I don't have memories from after that. And I also didn't do a yearly photo book when my first daughter was first born. And so I just feel like there's so much of my life that I can't look back on. I can't, I got a new phone since then, so I can't see the photos on there. They are on I think I was saving them to Amazon's cloud service or something. I don't even know. But that's not a great place to just have photos. I want to be able to relook at them. I want to see photos of my girls. And this also was inspired because it is on Amazon because we have an Amazon Fire Stick on our TV. And when we pause it and go have supper or go do something and it's just, it goes into sleep mode, it puts up the photos that I had on there from when my second daughter was a baby. And my girls love, love, love looking at those photos. And I'm we're only seeing photos from a very short amount of time. And we aren't seeing any photos from the last couple years. And now my baby, who was born almost 6 months ago now, she isn't even in any of those photos. So I thought it's time I really get this system figured out before any more years go by. I know for me, it's really easy once I have kind of quote unquote failed at something to just give up, but I really don't want to with this because I want to be able to look back on these photos. So that's some inspiration for you, some advice. If you have quote unquote failed however many years to have photo books or printed photos or whatever, it's okay to start now. You don't necessarily have to go back and fix it. That's what was stopping me. I thought I had to go back and redo everything. With this system, you can go back pretty easily depending on if you have photos saved to Google Photos or your phone. But just know you don't have to. At least start now. And then moving forward, have a system. Don't worry about going back if that's what's holding you back. So I'm going to be breaking down my photo system into my daily habit, folders on my phone, my monthly habit, my yearly habit, and then what I do with bigger sentimental photos like birthdays, baby photos, if you're doing a baby book, and how I make that really simple. So make sure you stay to the end for that as well. So let's start with my daily habit. Now, I got this idea from listening to Kendra Adachi's podcast, The Lazy Genius. I'm sure a lot of you guys have heard of it, but she had interviewed, I didn't actually listen to the interview, but I heard her in her top 10 episode from, I think it was like top 10 or favorite things from 2020. She talked about this idea of the daily delete that came from Miss Freddie. So I will actually link to that below since I did not come up with this idea. But basically, I set an alarm to go off every day at 8 p.m. And at 8 p.m., once the alarm goes off, I'm usually just sitting around doing nothing or asleep on the couch, quite honestly. I will just spend a few minutes going through my phone from the photos for the day and just deleting any that aren't important. I don't know about you, but I take tons of screenshots to send to people to like, look at what I bought or look at this thing or look at this funny meme, or I will save screenshots of things like somebody told me so that I can remember for later. I save, I don't know, the most random things. And then also my 3-year-old loves to get a hold of my phone and take like 5 bazillion photos of the floor or her forehead, just random things that I don't need using up my precious space on my phone that I want for our memory. So I'll just go through and delete anything I don't need on there. And basically the idea behind this is to make room for more photos and to just make sure you are keeping on top of the photos you don't need saved to your phone so that it's way less overwhelming, so that you can easily find everything. And so when we get to the further steps of this system, you don't have all this extra stuff that you don't need clogging what you do need and what you do want to remember. And so another tip is if, you're just starting this, like I just started this a couple months ago, is to, I had a lot of extra photos because I do this every once in a while where I'll go through, but it takes a lot of time. And so what I am doing to catch up is at 8 o'clock when my alarm goes off, I'll spend just 10 minutes going through as many photos as I can. So I will go, start at the top of my feed of photos from as far back as my phone goes. And then I'll delete. And then every day I just keep going. And eventually I will get caught up to where I'm actually on just the day. So that is a little tip, just, 5-10 minutes every day, and you'll eventually get caught up, which is really helpful. And then another bonus of doing this every single day that has really nothing to do with the photo system, but it's just really nice. I don't know about you guys, but I am in the thick of it with little kids. It's been really hard. I've had some really hard moments, some cry on the couch, some thinking about running away moments, never going to do that. But, we've all been there. It's hard. And so having time every day where I look back at the photos from the day, and I don't think a day goes by where I don't take at least one photo, it just makes me remember those little tiny moments of beauty throughout the day. And it makes me not feel like such a failure as a mom. I think, oh, wow, we actually did get something done, or we did have a moment together, or look at how happy she looks in that photo, or look how happy I look in that photo. Like, this day wasn't a complete waste. I didn't fail. That time I yelled or, locked myself in the bathroom or whatever isn't the whole day. Like, that was one moment, but I also have these beautiful moments to look back on. So it's a win-win situation. I'm getting ahead, but I'm also, kind of resetting my mental state and remembering the good parts of parenthood and ending my day on a good note. Okay, so once you have your daily habit going, in adjacent to this, I would also recommend setting up folders on your phone. So in your phone, I have an iPhone, but I'm sure you can do this with any phone. Under your photos, you can add different albums or different folders, whatever your phone creator calls it. But it's really helpful to have folders just like you would on your computer, just like you would in a filing system. This just makes it even easier to categorize everything and to find everything. So just some ideas of folders you could have. Good photos of myself. So my iPhone will take selfies and put them all in one folder. It can tell when you're taking a selfie, but most of those are not good. So I like to keep a few like good pictures of myself in a folder. So, if I have somebody ask me for a photo, or if I'm posting something and I want a photo of myself, or if I just want to remember a day where I actually looked decent and feel good about myself, I can open up that folder. It's just handy to have. Since I run my business online, I like to have a folder for business photos. So that for me is just photos that I could use on Instagram that inspire me in some way or could be helpful to someone. Photos if I'm posting an interview for this podcast and I want to post a photo of somebody that they sent me for the podcast, I could put it in that folder. I also have a folder for encouragement. So when somebody sends me a really sweet text, or if somebody leaves a really nice comment or an email, or I get a card in the mail, or somebody gives me a card, I will take a picture or a screenshot of it and I will save it to my encouragement folder. And it just makes me feel so good when I open that. So if I'm ever having a bad day, or I feel like I'm a failure, or I feel like I can't do anything right, or nobody likes me, or somebody says something really mean to me, I can open up that folder and remember, okay, all is okay with the world. I can't please everybody, but look at all the people who do appreciate me, who I have helped in some way. And it makes my life feel more meaningful because it's very easy for me to let criticism kind of take over. And so it's nice to have a place full of the opposite of that, of encouragement and just seeing things that, make me happy and fill me up, and knowing that I've done that for other people. Also, if you plan to make like a photo book for a special event, or you want to kind of curate, like Christmas photos, maybe over this month of December, you will save all your different Christmas activity photos to one folder so you can easily use them or easily post them or whatever in the future. That might be some other folders that you keep, are just different special events or occasions or things like that. I also have one for gift ideas. I actually posted this on Instagram earlier this week. I said, I'm always taking photos of things in stores. Like my kids say, oh, I want that. And I'll take a picture usually just to make them stop whining. But sometimes I actually do want to remember it. Or I will see something and think, oh, that would be such a good gift for so-and-so. Sometimes I'll email it to myself, but that still ends up getting lost. But I like the idea of having a folder and then labeling it and saving it as gift ideas so that I can actually go back and look at those when it's somebody's birthday or Christmas or Easter or whatever. And I will remember what I wanted to buy. So that's definitely a nice thing to have in a folder instead of just floating around on your phone. So the idea behind this is that you can easily add photos to these folders while you're doing your daily delete. So at whatever time you set an alarm and you go through your photos every day, then you can also add them to these folders. So it's not like you have to add it to the folder when you take it, because that's a lot to have to do. Often we're, juggling a lot of things, just taking a quick photo of a moment or whatever. But when you go back to do your daily delete, it doesn't take a lot more time to just like click, and put it in a folder, like the encouragement folder for a screenshot that I had of something nice somebody said. Oh, there's a good photo of me. Let's put it in my good photos of myself folder, and so on and so forth. So it's adding on to the previous point I had about doing your daily delete. You are also adding photos to these folders just to make your life easier in the future. I really like to do this so I don't have to search through my phone. And it's just a really great thing to be able to easily find things, because as busy moms, our brains don't work the way they used to. So anytime something could be more organized and easier to find, it's a win-win. Okay, let's talk about the monthly habit. This is something that is new to me that I am so excited about, because this is what I have been searching for. Now, I have done for the last couple of months, I've been researching like what's the best photo book where I can just like put all the photos from a year into one book, and it kind of just does it for me. And I was having trouble finding anything. I've heard a lot about different subscription services, but it wasn't until I talked to one of my friends and just told them about my dilemma. And she was like, oh, have you tried this one service? And I actually didn't end up going with that service, but by looking at it, it's a monthly service where you get monthly photo books printed and sent to you. I didn't understand why I would ever like that until I researched it more. So I ended up using Chatbooks. I am not affiliated, but I do have a referral code if you guys are interested in $10 off. The referral code is capital Sarah, SARAH, capital Ann, ANN dash RZYX. But I will have that in a link in the show notes if you guys are interested. But that gives you $10 off your first order. It also gives me $10 off. It's just a thank you for signing up. And it also thanks me for referring, which is a great thing for me because I'm buying all these books myself. But definitely do whatever works for you. But I decided to go with chapbooks because I loved just how easy it was. And like I said, I'm not getting paid to say this. I absolutely loved the app. I thought it was really easy. And so what I do is I signed up for their mini books every month. So it's $5. It's their monthly minis. They are $5 plus free shipping. I have absolutely no idea how they make any money doing this because that seems really, really cheap for something printed that's very good quality and it's sent to my house every month. So basically, these are, I believe, 5x5 books. They're soft cover books. And they are designed to be handled by kids, which is what really drew me to them because that is what these monthly books are for in my system. They're for my family to look at, to touch, to go through on their own. And it's okay if they get spilled on or whatever. They're only $5. It's not the end of the world. What I really like is they have a colored spine. So you can either just have a different color every month. But what I've done is I have chosen a color for each year so that I can easily see which ones are for each year and then kind of line them up on my shelf or whatever I decide to do once, I have all of them. So I actually went through recently. I spent just about 2 hours, which sounds like a long time, but when you think of this, I made 25 months worth of photo books in just 2 hours. When you think of that, that is amazing. And so I spent about $105 on the last 25 months of photo books. To me, that is an incredible deal and so worth it. And what I really, really, really love about this app, this seems like not a big deal, but for somebody who gets overwhelmed and distracted easily, this was a game changer for me. So when you go into the app and you choose, whatever month you want to make, it only shows you the photos from that month on your phone to choose from. So let's say I was making January 2019. It only shows me photos from January 2019. It does not show me photos from any other time. And I just think that seems counterintuitive, but it is genius because I'm not getting distracted by anything else. So for these photo books, you can include up to 30 photos, which is about like a photo every day. I will admit some months were harder than others to narrow it down to just 30. For example, in September, that's my second daughter's birthday. It is also the start of school, and my oldest daughter, started preschool and now she just started kindergarten. So that's a big deal in our house. We also often will do something for Labor Day with family. So I'll have photos from that. Plus dance starts and we go to Awana at church, that starts. And so there's all these things starting. And so I have all these photos, and to narrow it down to just 30 can be hard. But you could also always make 2 for a month. There's no rule that says you can only do 1 photo book per month. You can make your own rules. So just keep that in mind. But I also really like that it's narrowed down to just 30 because I would seriously print 200 photos per month, and that gets overwhelming. I think 30 is perfect for most people. And so I have 2019 that has yellow spine, 2020 is blue, and 2021 is pink. And so I can easily see which year, each book comes from, which is really, really nice. And the whole idea behind this is to be experiencing and looking at our photos often as a family. We have that book from 2018 when I did stay on top of a system, and my girls love to look at that. They absolutely love it. And so I love that they can, take a book up to bed. We can take it to the doctor's office. They can take it in the car, whatever. And if it gets wrecked, it's not a big deal. It's $5. I can easily rebuy it through the app. But, we're actually looking at our photos. And I think in today's day and age, we often don't have printed photos anywhere. And so this is just a really great way to be looking at them. That was my favorite thing. If you asked me what my favorite thing to do as a little girl was, it was to look through our box of photos. I would do it all the time. And I want my girls to have the same thing. Memories are so wonderful, and it's so much easier to remember things and to re-experience them in your mind if you have photos to look at. So I'd highly encourage you to have some kind of monthly habit where you're printing out photos. I just think it makes it a lot easier than waiting until the very end of the year because let's just say it gets overwhelming and it's Christmas time or New Year and you're overwhelmed, and then it's tax season is upon us and what have you. And it gets really overwhelming if you wait until the end of the year. Okay, so let's talk about my yearly habit. So my yearly habit used to be waiting until the end of the year. I would curate photos monthly, but like I said, life happened, got ahead of me. It wasn't a simple app. I had to actually like get myself to do it, and I failed. So that's why I also like having an app that reminds me, oh yeah, make your photo book. You paid $5 for this. Anyway, so for the yearly habit, the great thing about chapbooks also is you can just take all the photos you did for the months and have them create a yearly book. And so the idea behind this is that, you know, you have your books that your kids are looking at that are each a monthly book that are separate from each other. But it also is really nice to have like one book for the whole year that you put high up on your bookshelf that you can look at. And when your kids are grown, you can look at together. But it's nicer quality, it's nicer paper. You know, you might add some details to it to remember certain things like words and things so you can remember what was happening. But you don't have to spend all this time at the end of the year actually making it. So that's the great thing I love. I'm just going to integrate this with chapbooks because they also have, you know, yearly books where you literally just push a button, like make a yearly book out of my monthly minis, and then it creates that. And I can add different things, but the hardest part is done, which is picking the photos. I don't have to go back and do that. So basically, if you break down the cost, so it's $5 a month with free shipping for the monthly minis. And then for the yearly photos, the 8x8 photo books are about $50 and the 10x10s are about $100. So, you know, you're running about $60 for your monthly minis and then $50 to $100 for your yearly photo book. So that's about $110 to $160 for the year for all your photos. To me, that seems like such a good deal, especially since you're getting monthly photos every month. And I know this sounds like I'm advertising for them. I don't mean for that, but I think these subscription services can be so helpful for us busy moms. I don't think we should do all of them because that becomes overwhelming. But I think for things like this, for something that you want to be doing, but you forget and it's just hard to remember, it's hard to motivate yourself to do it, to have an app that helps you do it and just makes it super simple for you, it's totally worth it in my mind. And it's just genius. I wish I had come up with it. So lastly, let's talk about sentimental photos. So like birthdays, baby book. I'm kicking myself now after having baby number 3 for even buying a baby book with my other 2. My first daughter, I kind of stayed on top of it. My second daughter, I can't even tell you if I wrote anything down. And that makes me feel like a failure. It's not the fact that I didn't fill it out that makes me feel like a failure. It's the fact that there's an actual book that sits empty. Had I not bought it at all, I wouldn't feel guilty. It's the fact that it's now empty. Like I feel like it's something I should have done and I failed at. So if you are, you know, newly pregnant or not a mom yet, I would recommend don't do a photo book because you're probably going to stay behind on it and feel bad about it. So what can you do instead? What I have done since my first daughter, and I'm so grateful for this, and now to me, I'm like, I had such a great idea and I didn't even realize like this was a busy mom hack, but it's wonderful. So a lot of us take a monthly photo of our child, and some people already do something very similar to this, but I just want to lay it out for you as an actual tip that you can implement. So every month, ever since my first daughter was born, I took a monthly photo. With my first daughter, I took that photo and then I went into Photoshop and I added text to it. For my second and third daughters, I made it even easier. I just used PicMonkey. You can use Canva, you can use PicMonkey, you can use Paint, you can, use Photoshop, whatever. You can use an app on your phone. There's so many really quick and easy, simple and free tools you can use these days. So what I do, I usually dress them in something cute. You may lay them down on a mat that says like how old they are, whatever. Just do what you normally would do for the month for your baby. I like to also right now, with our youngest daughter, I've been dressing her up in something that kind of fits with the month. So like Christmas outfit, Valentine's Day, 4th of July, all those, we kind of have an outfit that matches that. And then I bring it into whatever photo editor I'm using. I use PicMonkey and I just set it as an 8x10 photo. So the photo I took is vertical, so portrait mode. And then I will take that photo and put that on half of the 8x10 template or whatever. And then on the other half, I will just pick a color out of her outfit. So let's just use Valentine's Day since that's current for us right now. Let's say she's wearing a pink outfit. I will use the little eyedropper tool to pick out a pink color from her outfit. And then I will make a rectangle on the right half of the photo with just a pink rectangle. So just to describe it so you guys can fully understand, on the left half of the 8x10 on my screen is my baby, vertical portrait photo. And on the right-hand side is the pink square that matches her outfit. Then along the top, I have her name and then colon, whatever age she is. So this month it will say Guinevere Rose, 6 months. And then what I like to do, just that's fun and easy, is to just add a bunch of text in the rectangle that describes her month. And so I have an app, actually it's just the Notes app on my phone, where I just keep little details of her month. So she just started eating foods. What are her favorite foods? Avocado, blueberries. I just keep note of that. If she goes to a well child visit, I will keep track of what her weight and height was. So I can add that because those are fun details to remember. If she likes a new song, I will add that. If she's doing anything, hitting any milestones, I will record that. If she all of a sudden really loves her blanket or hates whatever, I will write that down and I will put that on her little baby book picture, I guess you could call it. And I like to make them kind of funny. So I'll say like, Drooly Dudette drools constantly through a drool bib every day or something. You know, I'll have kind of like a title for it and then explain it. And then I can just upload that to Facebook, to Instagram, send it to family. And then when she turns 1 year old, what can I do with that? I print all 12 out on 8x10 paper, either at home or get it printed. And voila, I have a baby book. And I just had to do that once a month. It's really fun. I actually really enjoy doing it. I have it on my planner to do it every month, to take a picture of her. And that's all I have to do. I don't have to go back into the book and say, oh, how many teeth did you lose? Blah, blah, blah. Like I have all that stuff recorded because that was a milestone. Like when she gets her first tooth, that'll be in there on that month. And the really, really cool thing is when you have more than one child, you can look back on them next to each other and see how different they looked and compare their milestones and things they loved and didn't like. So it's just a really, really cool and much easier way to do a baby book. And honestly, I think my girls will have a lot more fun looking back at that than a pre-made book that I'm kind of just writing in and it's half filled out and there's burp cloth, spit up smudge all over and like spilled coffee. Like this will be, you know, saved in their little keepsake box that I have. And I might make a duplicate for myself, but it's just a really simple, easy, and fun, pretty much free way besides the printing of the 8x10. You don't have to figure out which baby book to get, which one looks the best or whatever. Just make your own. And it's so much simpler. And you're probably doing something similar to this anyway. So you can take the stress off and just do this. And then you aren't going to fail because you're already going to do this anyway. And then you don't have a book sitting there mocking you, making you feel bad like you're the failure of a mom. And then I am kind of kicking myself because I've never done anything for my girls' birthdays to kind of remember that besides take photos and have a birthday party. But what I'm going to do starting now, so keep in mind I have a almost 6-year-old and a 3-year-old and a 5-month-old. So my 6-year-old will not have this for her whole life and I just have to be okay with that, or I can find a time to go back. But I'm not going to make me starting now contingent upon going back and finishing what I didn't finish because I know I won't start then. So what I'm going to do for each birthday is something just like what I just described for babies. I'll take a picture on my phone. If I want to get my DSLR out, I can, but I don't have to be that fancy. I'll take a picture of my girls on their birthday, and then I'll write up a little thing about their favorite thing, what they want to be when they grow up, kind of like the first day of school stuff, but you know, a little bit more in depth. And I will print those out the same way on 8x10 photo paper. And then I will put it with their, you know, keepsakes so that every year, you know, starting at age 6 for my oldest, unless I go back. And that way I can remember, because now being a mom to an almost 6-year-old, I realize how fast it goes by and how hard it actually is to remember how they were when they were little. I see pictures, I see videos, but to actually remember them, it's so hard because they change so much each and every day. So I definitely want to have something like this moving forward. So lastly, let's talk about backup. I'm not an expert on this, but what I do for backing up my photos, because I do think that's important, is I use the iCloud storage that I just turn on with my iPhone. I pay a couple bucks a month for it. And my husband does as well, just so that, our photos are being saved. But I also have a bunch on external hard drives as well. I don't have an amazing system for this, so if you do, let me know. But I'm not going to go super in depth, but I think you definitely should have some kind of backup, because even though you are printing your photos, anything could happen to those. And I think it's really important to have backups as well, because of all the things we own, the things we can never get back are our memories. And if photos get deleted and, your house burns down, God forbid, you won't have those anymore. And those to me are the most precious things. So just a little disclaimer, if you don't have your photos backed up after this episode, why don't you go find a system? Because I think that's the most important. Although I don't have any great tips on that, just because for me, I just use the iCloud storage because it was really easy on an iPhone to do that. I really hope this episode was informational, gave you some good advice, gave you some tips you can actually walk away and implement. You definitely don't have to pay for anything, any service that I recommend, but I only recommend things that I love myself and I'm using myself. So just keep that in mind. But I think it's really important. What I really want you to come away with from this episode is to have some kind of system when it comes to your photos. I am all about routines and systems because they make my life easier. When something is a routine or is a system, I don't have to think about it anymore. It just becomes normal. It just becomes something that happens that I don't have to sit there and think, okay, shoot, I got to do this. Oh, shoot, I got to make a photo book. No, it's just a reminder on my phone that tells me, oh yeah, delete your photos today. And then, the month rolls around and I am reminded to pick my 30 favorite photos. And then this book appears. And then at the end of the year, I just print it out. Like, it's super simple. Besides doing something for my kids' birthdays, that's actually something I love to do. So it doesn't feel like work. It just feels like something easy. And that's once a year per child. Like, that's really not a lot of work. And for my baby, I was already taking photos every month. So it's just, to me, it's a really great system. I would love if you guys have any further tips or ideas or different things that you do when it comes to photos. Head over to my Facebook group. It's called the Work Life Glue Moms Facebook group. And over there, I always have a post that goes along with the episode so you can keep the conversation going over there. I really want to make this a community-based podcast, not just about me. It's about moms who are trying to do the best they can, who are trying to better themselves for their family, for themselves, to leave a legacy. And I would love if you would be part of our Glue Stick community over there. So I will have a link for that in the show notes. Thank you guys so much for listening. If you have any episode ideas that you want to learn more about from me or hear more about how I do something or my advice on a certain topic, head over to Instagram. I'm at Sarah WLG. That's Sarah with an H, WLG. And message me over there. I get back to my DMs the best there over email because it's just way less overwhelming to me. So head over there and give me some ideas. I would love to hear them. As always, guys, thank you so much for listening. Go get something done. Go love on your kids and go live your dreams. I'll talk to you soon.